Hey guys, how's it going tonight? So I see you got your policy out and ready for me. That makes my life a whole lot easier. So how's everything been going? I see you've been with us for a couple of years now. When's the last time someone like myself been to make sure you're taken care of? Okay, perfect. So what I'm going to be doing tonight is actually pretty fun because I'm the person whose job it is to be an expert on how your policy works. So first and foremost, we'll make sure that the terminal illness rider that we talked to over the phone is completed and signed. It's a great thing and it's no cost to you. Next, we're going to dust off this folder and dive into it to make sure you understand your benefits exactly like the day you enrolled. Now, if you're like me, you don't remember what you had for lunch the other day, let alone what happened a year ago with your benefits. Another great thing about my job is I can typically show you how your policy works and maybe even find you some money that the company owes you. It's pretty common. So I'm going to spend the next couple minutes doing some basic housekeeping, okay? Now, oftentimes what we find is sometimes the policy doesn't fit exactly the way it did when you first enrolled. So what I'm going to be doing is spending another 15 minutes or so doing some basic housekeeping on the policy and making sure that everything falls in place like it needs to. Now, if there's a need that arises, like a family member needs to be added, something needs to be made more permanent, or a beneficiary needs to be updated, then I'm going to take care of all of that right here today. You should find this a pretty simple and pretty helpful appointment. And like I said, I'm the person whose job it is to be an expert on how everything works. Okay? Sound fair? Great. So first thing for me to do is explain the terminal illness rider to you. Terminal illness rider is a great new benefit they have, and what it does is if you God forbid are diagnosed with a terminal illness, they will give you half of your policy to go take care of a couple of things off of your bucket list. So the other half will still be in play for the funeral itself, but you'll be able to knock a couple of things off the list. And that's really, really great. So that's the terminal illness rider. Now I'm going to dust off this folder and make sure you understand your benefits. The first benefit that they gave you was the $2,000 accidental death and dismemberment benefit. And what this does is it gives you $2,000 if you are killed in any accident on or off the job. Um, so let's say there's a house fire, an explosion, or you fall through cleaning the gutters. You're still guaranteed or still covered for $2,000. There's also dismemberment benefit. So if you lose vision in both of your eyes, both of your hands, both of your feet, you are covered for $2,000. And if it was to be half, so one eye, one hand, one foot, the amount will be half to $1,000. Now, no one's getting rich off of this, but I've never seen anyone turn this kind of money down at a time of need. So this is just a way of saying thank you for being a member of good standing, and it's not contributory. Excuse me. So you never pay into it as long. Excuse me. Sorry. As long as you're enrolled in your union or retired from it. Okay. So all I need you to do, so at the left hand side here, put your name at the bottom and sign. Okay. All right. Now the next benefit they have for you are the child safe ID kits. Now, these are critical because we're dealing with our child's safety, and we've all been there before, where you're in the store and you turn around and your child's not there. Panic comes over, you start to get a little nervous, but then they come running back to you and everything is okay. Most of the families that I sit with, their biggest fear is if something were to happen to my child, would I have the right information to get into the hands of the authorities to make sure my child comes home safe? And this takes care of all of that for you. So how it works is you put the child's name and the day, month, and year that it was filled out. On the inside, they have the spot for the child's information. Anything that's going to change, you're going to want to put in pencil. So the child's age, their height, their weight, put that in pencil. Anything that's going to be permanent, like their eye color, their hair color, street address, should you guys stay here, then you're going to put that in pen. And your information goes down here. The second part is for the physical description. So this is where you don't want to put any distinguishing marks. So say your daughter has a birthmark on her right arm. You're going to want to put a mark through here and write birthmark. This helps us find them a little faster. There's a spot for the DNA sample. You're going to want to pull a strand of your child's hair, tape it right here. Also a spot for a fingerprint where you can take the child's fingerprints. You're going to want to take the strip, go from left to right. I say usually do it before bath time so that you can make a mess and then clean the mess. Lastly, there's a spot for the photograph. You're going to want to change this photograph every 6 months or when the clocks change. There's also a spot for the child's age in the photo and the date the photo was taken. Now on the back, they have some important information for parents Like they should know their full name, their address, and their phone number. Their name should not they should not be putting their names on personal items like backpacks or their hoodies because information could be used by strangers. Someone could approach your child and tell them by name, "Hey Samantha, come with me. Something happened to your mom," and your child may or may not go. Depending, your child may go just unknowingly. So they did a wonderful job with this. We actually sat down with the International Union of Police Association and we told them that we'd get this out to as many families as we could. But with my limited time and resources, I can't realistically get this out to everyone. So what they do allow you to do is sponsor 6 families with kids to receive the Child Safe ID kit so they can protect their children the way you protect yours. So who are the 6 families that you like to sponsor for the Child Safe ID kits? Okay, make sure you give them a call and let them know that I will be trying to call them and give them their Child Safe ID kit just so that it's a little easier for them so they know who to be looking out for. Now, the next benefit they have for you is the health service discount card. I cannot do this justice by explaining it to you, but just a little bit of an overview. This gives you the discounts on things like prescription, eyes, hearing, and dental up to 60%. Like I said, I can't do this justice by explaining it to you. There's a website and a phone number you can go to, and this will have more information for you. And this is something that you guys can decide on your own time whether or not this would be a benefit to you. Okay. All right. Now, the other benefit they have for you is the Family Information Guide. Now, this is a comprehensive pamphlet to all of your most important benefits. Something you fill out on your own time, but again, like I said, I'll show you how it works. So up here is your information. Are you guys veterans? Okay. This spot right here is your significant other's information. Now, persons to be notified. These are 2 people over the age of 18 that you trust that you'd want to be notified if something happened to the both of you. Obviously, if something happened to one of you, the other one will be there to protect them and take care of them. But this isn't the case something happens to the both of you. Now, last will and testament. You guys have a will written yet? Okay, no problem. Most families that I sit with don't, but that's not something that you want to procrastinate on because New York was known as the probate state, which means that they can seize your assets. And in the event something happens, they can seize your assets while money is being distributed. You don't want that. So make sure you get a will written. LegalZoom, there's a website called LegalZoom, takes care of that for you, helps you out. So it might be of use to you guys. Maybe you want to check it out, okay? Now, next is your state information. This is where you're going to want to list all of your life insurance policies. So, for example, that $2,000 accidental death and dismemberment benefit that I just gave you, you're going to want to list that here. So you're going to want to put the company, national income, policy number, and the amount, $2,000. Otherwise, we're the only 3 people in this room that know you have it. Group coverage, hospital and medical is usually the medical coverage given to you by your employer. You'll notice there's no amount over here because when you leave your job, the employment or the amount goes away, but you knew that already. This is also where you're going to want to list all of your outside medical coverage. So, do you guys have any medical coverage other than this and the hospitals? No. Okay. Next is your financial institution information. This is where you're going to want to list all of your banking information. So, do you guys bank with a local credit union or a bank, a traditional bank? Traditional bank. So, just want to make sure all that is listed here. And lastly, is your funeral service request. Now, I get this isn't something that everyone wants to talk about every single day, but have you guys decided whether or not you wanted a cremation or a traditional funeral? Traditional funeral? Okay. So what you're going to want to do is just write down all of that right in this box right here. I can't tell you how many families fight over what their loved one would have wanted because they didn't know what their loved one would have wanted, and this takes the guesswork out of all of it. You're going to want to make sure that you sign it and date it and give out copies of this to your family. It isn't a legal document. This is, again, just something that is a pointer in the right direction so that your family isn't turning the house upside down looking for all the most important stuff. This will point them in the right direction. Okay? Awesome. Now, next, they want us to review your beneficiaries. So you have your beneficiaries as your brother and your mom. Do you want to change or anything to update there? No, they want to keep it that way. Perfect. Next, they have the policy review. So we're just going to go over the policy review. Um, you have your accidentals, or you have your hospital supplements, which gives you $800 per day. You're in intensive care up to 14 days. Remember to cap it at 14 days because if you're in there for any longer, you're going to be using the freedom of choice. But this has you covered for 800 days in the intensive care unit, 400 days per day confined in the hospital for 365 days. And remember, if you come out of the hospital and you have to go back in, that's still the days reset. And there's $200 that we give you every time you go to the hospital as a result of an injury or accident. And again, there's nothing internal like a sickness, like you're not feeling well, but this is for things like a cut, a burn, a bruise, or a cut that needs stitches, burns, bad reaction to a bee sting, chemical in your eyes, things like that. Your accidentals, you both are still covered for the 40,000 or 140,000, excuse me, in accidentals and 180,000 in automotive. That's for any privately owned vehicle, not a work vehicle. And you still are covered for $300,000 for the common carrier. That's for anything you pay a fare for: taxi, train, cab, bus, anything like that. Okay. Now you will still have your freedom of choice. Um, you guys remember how that works, but if you don't, I'll explain it to you. This is when something happens to your significant other, take it to any funeral home in the country, and they'll accept it. Let me see if I can grab it real quick. Okay. Well, hold on one second. The freedom of choice is you take this to any funeral home in the country, and they'll accept it, and actually they'll love it because they know it's backed by a big, powerful union.